What's going on, guys? It's a beautiful day today. It is an absolutely beautiful day. And you know why it's a beautiful day? Is because you're alive, you're breathing, you have the opportunity to work towards your goals and to be a better person and everything in between. If you're stressed about work right now, you prayed for this work. Be grateful that you're stressed about the work you prayed for. Be grateful that you're stressed about the opportunities that you prayed for, okay? So today I want to talk about the harsh reality of chasing these big goals that nobody seems to talk about. I find it very interesting that nobody seems to talk about this, because it's kind of like if you're, a content creator or whatever, and you're giving advice to entrepreneurs that are coming up, shouldn't you talk about this kind of stuff? Because it makes you feel less alone, I guess. And I guess a lot of people go through the same kind of thing. I was talking to a few other people, and it seems like it's a common theme no matter what industry you're in. So it doesn't matter. I'm not going to talk about real estate. I'm going to talk about specifically just entrepreneurship and coming up and building a business and that kind of thing. So first of all, the path of entrepreneurship, of success, of having big dreams and goals is that you're going to be lonely. Period. You're gonna be lonely, okay? And this is kind of what you have to realize, is that you chose a path of most resistance. You chose a path that 99.9% of people don't choose. So therefore, if you have 100 friends, then 99 now aren't gonna be your friend. And even that one person won't know exactly what you're going through because you aren't in the same industry as them, or there's different scenarios, right? But it seems to be a common theme for most entrepreneurs. If you're starting a franchise or building a business or whatever, this specifically seems to be a common theme. And the thing is that people cheer for you in the beginning. When you have this big idea, hey, I'm gonna be a billionaire, I'm gonna change the world, and I found real estate, or I found this, whatever, drop shipping, brand scaling. You're going to have people cheer for you in the beginning. They're gonna be like, oh, that's a good idea, you should go for it. It's a very fleeting experience. You have people cheer for you in the very beginning, and then there's going to be a stretch that's significantly longer than you think. Maybe you have a little bit of success in the beginning, then it drops off. And then there's a stretch that's significantly longer than you think, where it's just you. There's nobody cheering for you. And this is the part where you need it the most, right? But you have to go through this phase, and this is kind of what I'm realizing, because I'm hopefully on the end of the spectrum of this phase. Nobody cheers for you, but it's important. And let me explain why it's important. If people cheered for you, you wouldn't work as hard as you can. And to become the person you want to become at the end of this timeline, you have to kill off the person from the beginning to the beginning of the end. So what does that mean? If you start entrepreneurship, you're probably not very professional, you're not totally dedicated, you're not putting 100% effort into your business. You're thinking it's gonna be significantly easier than it actually is. And newsflash, it's not easier than it actually is, or else everybody would do it, right? And I know people say that, but you have to actually process that. Okay, well, I'm going through this phase. Obviously, it's not easy, and that makes sense, That means you're doing something right. If you're stuck, that means you're doing something right. If people don't believe in you, that means you're doing something right. So just keep going. Anyways, what I'm saying is, when you start entrepreneurship and you're over here and you're starting, you're most likely unprofessional, unrealistic, you're relatively lazy, you're not in the physical condition that you wish you were, you're not in the mental condition that you wish you were, which this is the most important. You're not even in the mental condition that you realize you have to be in, because you assume that it's gonna be significantly easier because you see people online, you see these young entrepreneurs that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, and you're saying, oh, if they can do it, I can do it. And yes, that is true. However, those young entrepreneurs don't talk about this middle phase. They talk about this part, the beginning and the end, not the middle. And so the middle is the trickiest part. The point I'm getting at is that you have to kill off this person that starts to reach the person that actually achieves something. It's basically like war with yourself every single day. So you start out, you're not in the mental position that you realize you have to be in. And throughout your journey, maybe you have ups and downs, just like every entrepreneur, you have ups and downs. You make some money and then you fail, or you get lazy or something, and then you make some money and then you fail, and then you're going down and down and down and down and down. And then I think once you reach, the lowest point, you skyrocket. At least that's what I've learned from other people. So if you're at that lowest point, then you're most likely about to skyrocket, hopefully. And so this is kind of what I've realized, is that when you are on this path of these ups and downs, especially when you get towards the end and you're at the lowest point. You need to realize that you have to kill off this person that's been working with you this entire time, because you have to realize that the person that's been working with you this entire time has been going up and down. They aren't the person that's going to be way up here, right? They aren't the person that's going to succeed and have the goals that you have. So to become this person, you can only be one person. To become this person that's way up here, that skyrockets, you have to kill off this person that's up and down and up and down and up and down. And it's basically like mental warfare with yourself. It's pretty interesting, definitely interesting. The reason I'm saying this is because not many people talk about it. A lot of people, to protect their brand or to gain as many eyeballs as possible or to protect their ego or build their ego, whatever, they're gonna only talk about this portion of the time frame. They're not going to talk about the middle, where they're struggling, where they're trying to make ends meet, where they're trying to figure something out, where everybody is telling them you're crazy, get a job. They're not going to talk about this part because people don't enjoy listening to that part. Who's going to enjoy, a person that hasn't succeeded? They're going to enjoy somebody who's driving Ferraris and getting a penthouse at 20 years old, not the middle portion where you don't have any of that and you're just sitting there grinding every single day. So a few things is that, one, you have to assume every single day that this is the day I make it work. This is the day that low point turns into a skyrocket. You have to assume that every single day, or else you will burn out. And it's so simple and it's so dumb, but it does work. So every single morning you wake up and you say, oh, today's the day I finally make so much money. Today's the day. And then at the end of the day, maybe you don't, maybe you do. But that keeps your mentality going, right? And you realize also that this person that's gone the entire time, to get to the skyrocket, like I said, you have to kill off this person. And what does that mean? So the person in the beginning, when you start, you go through phases. Up and down, like I said. And this is your personality from the beginning. So your personality from the beginning stays with you up and down and up and down. And then once you start going down and you're not going up and you're trying to figure out finally, okay, I'm putting everything I've learned together, I'm trying to make it work. This person, you suddenly realize, I can't be this person anymore. This personality that I've had, this persona that I've had this entire time, I can't be that person anymore. I have to kill off that person to reach the goals that I want to reach. It's interesting because like I said, I don't think anybody talks about this. I mean, maybe I've heard it once or twice, but nobody really talks about it. And for the 8 people who watch this, I guarantee it's gonna be 8 people. If you're going through this phase, you just have to know that the faster you kill off this other person and rebuild yourself to the person that's gonna get up here, I think the faster you'll succeed. And the reason most people don't realize this is because nobody talks about it. So if you have someone like me who's telling you, hey, look, if you're going through these up and downs right now, the faster you just kill off this person and rebuild yourself and stop negotiating with your own mind, the faster you'll skyrocket. That's what you have to do. And it looks different person to person. It looks different. It just is different person to person because everybody has a different personality. And maybe you just start as this person. Either way, I don't think your brain fully realizes what it takes to get up here because you see other people doing it and you're like, oh, I can do that. And so you don't realize what it takes to get up to this point. And then when you do realize, it's already like, you're already in the pit, And then you're like, oh, I had to do that. And then you do it and then you skyrocket. So just be prepared to spend a significantly longer period of time than you assume it's going to take. Significantly longer. Anybody who says they had like crazy success in their first 3 months is most likely lying to you. Most likely it's a marketing scheme or something like that. And they've been trying entrepreneurship or trying to figure out a business for 2 years before they figure something out and they're at the pit and then they skyrocket. So just don't compare yourself to other people. I actually do compare myself to other people because I find it motivating. If I see somebody who's 21 years old, same age as me, and they've already are making 50, 100K a month, then realistically they've probably taken longer than me. But at the same time, they've had the same time as me. So if I'm saying, hey, they had different opportunities, then I mean, in my opinion, it's just an excuse. I think this is a shorter video. I have no idea how long I've been talking, but yeah, I just wanted to get on here and tell you guys that if you're in these up and downs, the sooner you kill off this person, the sooner you can skyrocket. And it took me so many ups and downs of making, 8K and then going down, making $0 for months, and then making another couple thousand and going down, couple thousand going down, couple thousand going down, and now I'm in this pressure cooker and I'm down, and it's a normal cycle, but now I actually have full rent and everything to pay. So I'm realizing, okay, well, I need to figure out this now, which puts me at the bottom, which hopefully then skyrockets. And you know, I've been burned by life so many times that there's definitely a chance where it's just another up and down. But I think now that I've realized that you have to kill off the person that you were before, I'm going to explode with success sooner, if that makes sense. And maybe you have to be in this situation to actually understand what I'm saying. I don't know. But yeah, it makes sense in my brain. I don't know. Comment down below if it makes sense. Maybe I'm just rambling on and I have no idea what I'm saying, but it makes sense in my brain. Anyways, God bless you all, and I'll see you tomorrow. Like and subscribe.